GMC Communications, all the way down from Detroit. I'm here with my colleague Kelly Wysocki, who really runs the show. She knows a lot more about it than I do. So we're going to talk about two great new vehicles that hopefully you saw some outside. The brand new 2013 GMC Acadia and Acadia Denali, and also the 2013 GMC Terrain Denali. I want to point out, we've done about 5 or 6 of these events. They're all regional events, but you guys are going to be driving and experiencing the car before even people like Automobile Magazine, Motor Trend Magazine, any of that. We've decided that events like this are more important than getting them in front of the buff books. So please take time, spend time with us. We're here to answer your questions. If you write about this car, you're going to be getting ahead of some of the buff books because they haven't spent time in the product. Just want to let you know that. So we'll go ahead and start. GMC. A lot of people don't know about GMC. I was a journalist. I was on your side of the fence for about 5 years. I didn't even know how fascinating GMC is. It's the #2 brand by volume in the GM portfolio, in the GM stable. We sell more than Cadillac and Buick combined. Did anybody know that?
Yep.
Right. So it's really interesting. A lot of people will say, why the hell does GMC exist? You know, we're just rebadged Cadillacs. Rebadged Chevrolets. That's not the case. GMC is a viable brand. We're a distant second to Chevrolet, because Chevrolet is massive, but we are a very large brand. And if we were freestanding, we are the 10th largest brand by volume in the US. Another factoid that a lot of people didn't know. So GMC is a really cool brand with very dedicated customers that identify with this professional grade, identify with our design language, and really identify with those 3 letters, because it says a lot about them. All right, so next. So Acadia, let's talk about Acadia. Acadia has been around for a while, but Acadia is still kicking butt. Even with, we revealed this new vehicle back in Chicago, back in February or March of last year, and Acadia sales are still going very strong. So in September 2012, we were 22% ahead of the game than we were last year. And in 2011 was our best sales year ever. So in the late in the life cycle of this Acadia, this product is still resonating with people. It's a very strong product for us. Go ahead. So over 30% of the Acadia sales are Denali. In fact, I wasn't at GMC at the time, but when they were deciding whether or not they should do a Denali version, there was certain people who weren't convinced that they would be able to pull it off. Over 30% of the vehicles are Denalis, which are loaded vehicles. 50% people that buy Acadias, and Terrain for that matter, come from outside of GM. These vehicles are bringing new customers to the GM portfolio. It's an amazing stat. And then 50% of the registered owners of the Acadia are women. So a lot of people say, oh, it's a very masculine looking car, it's very SUV, it's very boxy. Well, 50%, that's obviously resonating with women. It is a family vehicle, can seat up to 8, but 50% of the people that actually purchase this car are women. And based on stats, we probably know that more than 50% of the people that drive the car are women, because women influence the purchase decision that might not be on the title. All right, next. Terrain, another very strong vehicle for the brand. In September, we were up 13% over the same time last year. So again, we're still doing very, very well with this vehicle. And then Acadia and Terrain sales combined are 43% of GMC. So people think GMC, they think Yukon, they think pickup. These two vehicles combined, these crossovers, and we all know crossovers are very popular, but those combined represent 43% of all GMC sales. It's a very great stat. All right, next. So now we're going to talk about the Acadia and the Acadia Denali. Again, we talked about how strong the brand is, how well Acadia is doing. Well, this new Acadia is going to take it to the next level. You can go, Acadia wins. It's a great car. Basically what we did was we didn't change anything that was working, and we updated the styling and a couple minor technical details. So it has a very low step-in height. It seats up to 8 people if you get the second row bench. It is an excellent car for carpooling. And then the cargo capacity in the back. I really want you guys, if you have time, to get out there, crawl in the 3rd row seat, spend some time back there. It's made for adults. Also, push those seats down and look how big the cargo area is. One of the reasons this car is so popular. You can get 48-inch pieces of plywood or drywall in between in the back, which is excellent. All right, next. So what's new for 2013? You can tell it's very different looking. The front end is much more upright. It looks a little bit more aggressive. We have a new hood, new front fenders and grille. We have projector beam headlights with signature LED lighting. Our driving lights are this LED lighting. It's actually really cool. And at night, I wish we could do it at night. It's really mean. Driving down the road, it looks really mean. It's great. Then next, again, we have new rocker moldings and lower door cladding, and then 2 new 18-inch, 19-inch wheels. In the rear spoiler and rear quarter panel makes it wraparound glass. I'll give an extra special kudos to anybody that can tell me where that rear hatch came from. All right, so it's from a vehicle we don't make anymore.
Homer.
Who said it? Somebody just said it.
The Homer.
The Saturn outlet.
Oh.
So we actually, instead of recreating something new, we took something that's no longer at sale and we added it to the existing one. We saved some money. As you can see, it's a great new look.
That's good.
But I mean, and somebody, I have to be honest, somebody asked me about that at the auto show, and Kelly was in the car with me. I might have been a little tired, and it was a journalist, and I said, is that news? Really? I mean, why are you asking me this? It really is. We took something that existed and made it better using parts that we already had. So, LED taillights, and then the exhaust you don't see any before. In the current Acadias, you'll see quad exhaust with a downturn behind the rear fascia. All right, next.
Which Saturn?
Oh.
So the interior is another huge story for us. I want you to get in, I want you to touch the dash, I want you to feel it's all new uppers, and it's soft touch, it has stitching. We have ambient lighting, which you probably won't be able to see in the daylight, and then real aluminum trim. Next. We also wood grain accents, and then contrast stitching on the seats. So get in and feel this, you'll see the quality level is much higher. Big news is this the center stack. You're going to see we have a color touch radio with IntelliLink. Has anybody experienced IntelliLink in a Buick or GMC product? If not, and I'd be happy to talk you through it. It's our color touch radio, very intuitive, voice commands. All these icons over here you can move around, you can customize it to yourself, and we're happy to show you that outside. The climate controls are really big news as well. If you played with the climate controls in the current Acadia, they're less than optimal. These new dials are very easy to use. Big LED lights tells you what the temperature are, and the big news is we can control the rear AC from the front now. You used to be able to turn it on and off, and that was it, and then you'd have to go like this in the back and pretend, your kids are going, Mommy, it's hot, or it's too cold. Now you can actually control it from the front, and that's a huge safety and convenience factor. And then another new one is an 8-way power passenger seat. Consumers asked for this over and over and over again. We used to get reports from the auto shows, and that was one of the biggest things. Why doesn't the power passenger seat? Well, why don't you have a power passenger seat? And now we do. All right, the Acadia Denali. Again, huge success story for GMC is the Denali lineup. It represents up to 30% of the sales for this vehicle, so it's very important. Very distinct upper and lower grille, satin chrome accents. You might have seen our Denalis in the past were very bright. These accents, if you look at the Terrain and the Acadia, it's a much more subdued chrome. Again, the signature LED lighting with HID headlamps, and the body-colored fascia. So it's all body-colored all around. Go ahead. Then you have the body-color rockers and rear. Flows through exhaust through the rear fascia. Looks very sweet, very nice. Unique 20-inch machined aluminum wheels, and then there's another optional 20-inch wheel. Mahogany wood steering wheel. That's actually real wood on the wheel. Real aluminum trim, and then the lit aluminum plates with the Denali logo. Power tilt telescoping steering column, that's new for Denali for this year. Again, another really nice luxury feature for the Acadia, and it's available as standard on the Denali. And then we have some new colors in the interior, okay? So some new technology that the vehicle's predominantly design driven. I mean, the biggest changes in design, that's what's most obvious. One of the newer technology upgrades is the dual flow dampers and rebound springs. If you take the vehicle for a ride on the streets in the Denali, you'll notice it rides a little bit smoother, and that's because we have these new dual flow dampers up front. Heads-up displays a carryover, but again, if you've never experienced that, it's aircraft technology that we put into our vehicles, keeps your eyes on the road, and you have your speed and other information right in front of you. Okay? So some other new technology. In front of you, you have a jump drive. everything I say here, while this actual presentation isn't on that, everything I say here and more is on that jump drive. And I'm pointing that out because there's a great video to explain what I'm about to say. And that is this front center airbag system. GMC's this platform, GMC Acadia, Buick Enclave, and Chevrolet Traverse are the first vehicles to ever have this. I'm going to try to explain it to you, but please look for the video on your jump drive. There's an airbag, this little alien-looking thing right here, comes out of the driver's seat on the side. So if you're hit from on the other side, it will pop up and it forms a cushion between you and the passenger, because if you're hit, your head goes like this. There's a great video showing a dummy doing it. Or even if you're by yourself, it keeps you within this cocoon. Industry first, very unique, and we expect it to help us with our safety ratings even more. Another minor event, have you guys ever gotten into a car and you sit down and you're like, what's going on? The headrest push you forward a little bit? Everybody has that problem, every manufacturer, because it's required for safety regulations. Well, get into the Acadia and push this button on the side. Not only does it move it up and down, it moves it fore and aft. So you can adjust it to make it comfortable for you, which is a minor little thing, but when you're getting in a car and driving every day, that's something that it's very important. All right, next. Some more safety. We have side blind zone alert and rear cross traffic alert. Side blind zone alert is a lot of vehicles. The rear cross traffic alert is what's really fantastic. If you're coming out of a parking spot in Target or anywhere and somebody's coming down the aisle, it actually lets you know where it's coming. Where that one, not only that someone's coming, but it tells you where it's coming from. So the arrow will light up on the screen from the side that the vehicle's approaching. That's new for 2013. Well, we talked about some minor technology enhancements to the vehicle. In addition to the dual flow dampers, we have Generation 2 transmission controls. So we've all driven the new 6, 7, 8-speed transmissions. This is our 6-speed transmission. Vehicles are always going into the higher gear for fuel economy. And sometimes you need to get into a lower gear quickly, and you stomp on the gas. Well, this new generation of technology controls for the transmission actually allows you to downshift faster. So if you're driving along, step on it, you can feel it'll jump 2 gears instead of stepping down. It's a safety factor, it's a convenience factor, and a drivability factor. All right, next. All right, so we've talked about the color touch radio, which is standard in these vehicles. It's available with navigation and IntelliLink. Has anybody used Stitcher or Pandora on their phones? Yeah. It will allow you to stream Stitcher or Pandora through your color touch radio. Not only will it allow to do that, you can use your voice to select that source. On Pandora, you can thumbs up or thumbs down right on the screen. So it actually is pure integration. It's really, really great. You'll also notice that there's capacitive touch controls. There aren't buttons anymore around the system. So when you get in here, these are actual buttons, and it'll give an audio feedback, but it's not a button. It's capacitive touch controls. And then I talked about the improved tri-zone HVAC controls. Okay, train Denali, I'll go over quickly. Again, all of this information is on your jump drive. Denali's. We launched it in 1999. We've sold over 500,000 Denali's at GMC. Over 500,000. Denali's, if they were a freestanding brand, just Denali's, we sell more than Jaguar and Land Rover combined in a given month. So people, it was not rocket science when you decide to make a train Denali, because people identify with this sub-brand. It's the ultimate expression of professional grade, and it's very much GMC. We just started selling the terrain Denali, and almost 20% of the sales have been terrain Denali. People identify with this Denali sub-brand. So we've got a honeycomb grille, satin chrome accents, body colored front fascia, and then we have a new headlamp design. Again, body colored rocker panels, lower bottom molding that are in satin chrome, and then some new wheels. New tail lamp design, body colored rear fascia, new chrome exhausts, they're actually square, which are really cool, and then programmable powered liftgate, which is fantastic. If you've never played with this, has anybody been, might be short of stature or have a tight garage? You can actually program where this liftgate will stop. And it's not just 2 settings, it's wherever you want it. So you go in, you put the thing to 3/4, and you hold when you get it to where you want it to go, you hold the button, and next time you open it, that's where it will stop. It's great in tight garages, it's great if you're short. It's actually a really interesting feature. The interior design of this is great. It's leather wrapped with wood grain inserts, Denali logos on the horn pad, on the seats, and then an 8-way, again, I talked about the 8-way powered passenger seat. Big request on this vehicle, you can get it on the Denali, it's standard. Next. Again, touch the dash on this. You're going to notice the dash is soft touch. It has very distinctive red stitching, live stitching that's red, which is fantastic. Wood grain accents on the doors and the shifter, and leather door panels with live stitch. This sounds like a really not a big deal, but this leather armrest, this leather cover armrest, if you drive and this is one of the touch points in your car. Steering wheels are really important. Well, that's why we make them leather. When people put their arm on this armrest, it's a big difference when you feel the leather. It's comfort, it says luxury, and people notice it, so that's part of the product. Again, we have color touch radio, color touch nav, IntelliLink. New is a universal remote control, and then same dual flow dampers on the Terrain Denali. Makes it a lot more comfortable to drive. It's smoother, more luxurious. This is part of our safety package, 360 degrees. We can go to the next slide. So we've got forward collision alert. We just won an award for Popular Mechanics on this. You guys are the first. We just put out a release 2 days ago. Forward collision alert uses a camera. We've had it at Mercedes, has had it, Infinity's had it, all kinds of stuff. They'll slow the car down, but it costs thousands of dollars. For under $800, as a part of a tech package, you can get this camera-based forward collision alert that brings this technology, very important safety technology, down to become more affordable. So much so that
it's a standard in the whole country.
No, it's not standard. It's standard on Denali, but it's optional on the other trims.
And how much was the option?
It's like $795. And it uses a camera, and that's packaged with the side blind zone alert, I believe. So it uses the camera, it takes constantly photos. It will alert you. You can set it to its sensitivity. So it takes photos to adjust the difference, and then it'll alert you whether it'll go bright red when you're getting too close, and then if you're approaching too quickly, it'll start blinking and making a loud buzzing noise, and it'll pre-charge the brakes. It does not stop you. Our philosophy is we don't want the car driving you, we just want to help you drive better. Two cool things about both the forward collision alert and the lane departure warning. Lane departure warning uses the same camera. It's very interesting. Uses the same camera as the forward collision alert. It reads the lines on the road. And it sounds, you're thinking, a camera, it works. It works really well. In fact, when I leave it on my car, I realize how bad of a driver I am, because it's constantly going off. But that's another thing that we do with our products on these two technologies. Have you ever been in a car and you're like, I don't want the car talking to me? So you turn it off. Next time you turn the car back on, it's back on again. If you decide to turn the lane departure warning or the forward collision alert off, it stays off until you turn it back on. So that's the way we design this is it's up to you, and it allows you to turn it off or turn it on when you want. Okay. Same side blind zone alert that I talked about in the Acadia Denali, or in the Acadia. It's side blind zone alert and the rear cross traffic alert. And then a new engine. This, if you haven't driven the new 3.6 engine, we have the biggest news on the new Terrain, not just Denali, but Terrain for 2013, is the addition of the 3.6 liter V6. It replaces the 3.0 liter, which I'm not going to lie, it was a bit of a dog. It was. The cool thing is it gets 301 horsepower. It turns this thing into a bit of a rocket ship. It's 0 to 60 in 6.7 seconds, and it doesn't affect fuel economy whatsoever, at all. So in fact, I had a front-wheel drive V6, and I was doing 80 on the highway, and I got 27 miles to the gallon. It's rated at 24. So if you get a chance, get out there, just go from stoplight to stoplight. It's this little Terrain, and it's a blast to drive. And it's the same V6 that we have in the CTS and a lot of our other, it's the same V6 as we have in our Camaro. Excellent engine and a very great car. So, whew, that's it. I know I'm in between you and your lunch and trying to go quickly.
Does that come in all-wheel drive?
It does. You can get the V6 front and all-wheel drive. Any other questions? We're going to be here. Kelly and I will be here. We'll be out in the cars walking. We're going to do a bit of walk around as well. Go ahead.
How's the sound system rating in the vehicle?
How's it rated?
The sound system, yeah.
Well, I think it's great. But I don't know if we've had it independently rated. I mean, it's a Bose system.
It's a
And
Bose.
yes, it's
Well, that
Bose.
says it right there.
Yeah, and it cranks. It
Yeah.
does really well.
Test it out.
Yeah, we can absolutely
That
go
says
test it
right
out.
here.
And you can blue